Hello, everyone. How are y'all? Hope that y'all are enjoying. This week is Thanksgiving week for us, and we are off of school and work, and so we are really excited. I don't know about y'all, but we need a break, and so we're excited. The weather is beautiful here today. It's sun shining. I've got the windows open. We've had some good rain, and I hear we're supposed to be getting some cold weather come Monday. So anyways, I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds and let a few people get on here, and then we'll get started. I am excited about today's topic. I'm going to be sharing with you just some key things on how I prioritize my health during the holidays in hopes that it will be helpful for you too. And so, let's go ahead and get started. You guys can play this back too if you can't make it live. So, all right. As the holidays are among us, I wanted to share with you these things that I've implemented over the years to really kind of help me prioritize my health while still being able to enjoy all the yummy food and the festivities and all of that. So don't worry, this is not going to be a live where it's a Debbie Downer to leave you feeling like you can't eat a piece of pie, or you've got to eat salad. It's nothing like that. These are things that I'm going to share with you that are 100% doable and realistic. Otherwise, I personally would not be able to implement them either. So anyways, really what it comes down to is, the truth is, it's better to kind of talk about these things and get a good game plan now than it is to kind of throw in the towel for a month and tell yourself that you'll pick back up and get back on track in January. You know, I do not believe in an all or nothing mindset when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. But I do think that it is very difficult to maintain health when we have no plan. So if we wait until we're, really in the thick of it, it becomes so much more stressful to think about, and we end up caving and kind of doing whatever only to regret it later. Who has been there? I know I have many, many times in my life. So there are some things that I like to have in place, or that are kind of my non-negotiables during any kind of travel or during the holidays. And keep in mind that these are mine and they're what works for me. Feel free to take them for yourself, adopt them for yourself, tweak them to meet your needs. Totally okay. What's not okay is to implement nothing, because what will happen is you will default to the path of least resistance, and you and I both know that this path is not going to be best for your health. So we have to have some sort of plan or strategy in place to set ourselves up for success. So for our family, these three things essentially are our non-negotiables and things that we hold fast to when it comes to any kind of travel or holidays. Those three things are food, they are body movement, and stress management. So we're going to dive into each one of these and kind of what it looks like for us. And then at the end, I'll share a few supplements that I like to take during the holidays as well. But before we go there, we have to understand that our beliefs often are the root cause of our behaviors. So for me, health and wellness is ingrained into my day-to-day life. It is how I live my life. It is not separate from everything. It's not extra. I take this with me through holidays and vacations, and it doesn't feel like this hard or just really big extra thing because it's a part of who I am. I don't eat like trash on vacation or during the holidays because, simply put, I don't want to feel like trash. Am I perfect? No. Has it always been like this for me? No. It took years of feeling like garbage and completely neglecting my own basic human needs to come to a point where enough was enough. I wasn't showing up for myself, for my family, or anyone for that matter. I literally was barely surviving. So I also was the queen of starting new behaviors or habits after I would fall off the bandwagon time and time again, only to pick up the next challenge a month later or, at the new year. So, and it was this vicious cycle, right? It got me nowhere. It was a continued pattern. Once I really began to take my health seriously and start changing my beliefs around my behaviors and my habits, that is really when things started to turn around for me. I started to see myself as someone that was worthy to take care of herself. We tend to approach health as though it's just this habit change, right? Or just this behavior that needs to change. But we actually have to change on an identity level first in order to uphold these new behaviors and these new habits. So I say this because if every year you are someone that says, this is the year, like this is the year that I'm going to get healthy, or this is the year that I'm going to get fit, but then you're always kind of falling short or coming up short like I was years ago, you may need to change on an identity level first. So I just want to preface this whole thing with that first. So let's get into these three non-negotiables here. So the first one is food. This one is super important to me. I always try to have a plan or a strategy in place when it comes to food. I know that food can be tricky during the holidays. We tend to have a lot of heavier foods, more sugary foods, and lots of casseroles with cream soups. If you know, you're from the South. All the cans of cream of soup and the casseroles. Our family has some dietary restrictions that can be tough to navigate for people. And one thing that I really prioritize is food. I don't leave it to chance or make it someone else's responsibility to try to figure that out. I just don't. Especially if there are special things that you're implementing, like, specific dietary restrictions, it just creates too much pressure or stress to make it someone else's responsibility to try to figure that out. So we honestly bring food wherever we go. It is a known fact that Willinghams never go anywhere without food. I have spent a lot of years trying to figure out how to take the foods of my childhood, those just awesome comfort foods. I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make those specific dishes nutrient dense and kind of swap out some of those junk ingredients. And I try to do that a lot here in this group for you. I really do believe that you can make just about any food healthy by just choosing some quality ingredients. And one thing that is super common, around the holidays is we typically, like with those heavier foods, we're under eating vegetables and we're overeating on sugar. And this honestly can be a recipe for feeling like trash and kind of throwing your blood sugar into a roller coaster all day long. Scott and I try and for sure bring some sort of a roasted vegetable dish or a potato dish or like a really great hearty salad, as well as really well-sourced protein. I usually will always also bring my own dessert as well, one that I know that all of my family can have and enjoy a treat without feeling left out. So the way that we eat can give us balanced moods, better energy, and it really can anchor us and resource us very well. So if you're someone that, tends to get overwhelmed very easily, we have to find ways to resource ourselves during the holidays. When we are under a bunch of chaos and we're not fueling ourselves well, we're more likely to be stressed and overwhelmed and just feel that, chaos of the holidays. So I encourage you to ask yourself, what items can you make to resource yourself well during the holidays? So food is a really big one. Movement. We're going to move into movement next. So a daily movement practice can be very, very helpful. I personally love to lift weights, to go for a run, even just going for a walk can help me feel so much better. So even if it's just 30 minutes before all your company arrives or before you leave to head to your family or your company's house, or if you're staying somewhere, maybe you could even wake up a little bit earlier than everybody else and kind of get that out of the way. And so really, what would it take for you to make movement a priority during the holidays and as a part of your non-negotiables? If you take a month-long hiatus, it's going to be harder to get back to it. It just is. So bake in some accountability and involve the family. Bring your tennis shoes with you when you travel. I feel literally zero guilt in taking care of myself because I know if I take care of myself, I can take care of everyone else around me better. Period. I show up better for my family. I show up better for my friends, my patients. I totally understand the mom guilt thing is very real. I know that I've dealt with it a bunch throughout. And so, but also like it's never served me well either. It's left me neglecting my basic human needs which then is going to make everyone else suffer in the family because I was moody, extremely fatigued, have zero energy, brain fog, like straight out of like into survival mode. So movement, I know that by getting this in, I'm going to feel better. So how do we fit this in? It also just doesn't have to be this super extreme thing. Just move, get some sunshine, get out, get some fresh air. And I promise you watch your mood change. You watch how much better you feel, how much better you sleep, all just by adding in some movement. Another great thing is, after you've had these big heavy meals, like walking after the meal can be very helpful and help to stabilize your blood sugar as well. So start thinking now on how you can bake in some body movement during the holidays. And then thirdly is stress management. I know that sometimes the holidays can be a huge stressor for some. There can be family dysfunction. Anytime you're getting multiple families together with different values and ways of doing things, it can be stressful and hard to navigate. Or maybe you're having to travel pretty far and coordinate all the things, right? So there are some things that we like to have in place, when we are in stressful situations, or things we want to make sure we have in place to make sure that we are caring for our nervous systems during the holidays and during travel. A couple of those things that I like to do is making sure that I'm taking care of my nervous system by creating little pockets of time that I can kind of retreat and be by myself a little bit. I know that I recharge best when I can get a little bit of alone time. So for me, this looks like waking up before everyone else does to carve out time to do some deep breathing, praying, reading my Bible, even just stretching my body a little bit. This helps set my mind for the day. Or maybe that looks like going for a walk after dinner. Whatever that looks like for you, I encourage you to do it. It is not worth going 90 miles an hour during the holidays only to leave you afterwards like a stress ball of a mess. So creating those little small pockets of time during the day can help you to regulate your nervous system and allow you to be able to enjoy the holidays more. Another thing that I often hear when it comes to stress is dealing with negative talk around your health choices. So if you have people that are making comments to you about, how you're taking care of yourself or making fun of the food that you're bringing, just remember that so much of what people say are projections of their own insecurities. So your healthy ways might trigger their insecurities because they aren't doing it when they wish that they could. So, and I'll tell my patients, just blame it on me. I don't care. Blame it on me that I made you do it. So for me, it makes a big difference on my mental, emotional well-being when I am taking time to check in with myself during the holidays. Having some of these simple practices in place makes a big difference in how I'm able to show up and how I'm able to enjoy the holidays when I'm caring for my nervous system, okay? So I want you to be thinking about those three things and what that looks like for you realistically. How can you pay attention to your food? How can you move your body? How can you help to support your immune system or your immune system? By doing these things, you are going to be supporting your immune system, but your nervous system is what I really meant to say. Okay, so I was going to kind of close out with just some supplementation that I like to have with me when I'm traveling. Now, I have to disclaimer here this and just say that these are what work for me, and you should totally consult with a practitioner before you just go out and start to supplement with all of these things. I could kind of get off on a tangent when it comes to supplements, but I won't for your sake today. But I do think that there can be a few things that can generally help during the holidays and travels. That said, I am a huge advocate for basics first and a food first approach. So before we're adding in a bunch of supplements, what you cannot expect to do is, going and feeding yourself like trash over the holidays and expect these supplements to come in and basically cancel it all out. That's not how that works. It doesn't work that way. So if you're eating like trash, I would start there first, before I would even let the supplements go in one ear and out the other. Just focus on your food first. So, a few things that I like to bring along with me is, there's a company called Organifi, and you can, they have their own storefront on Amazon. As well as you can order direct to their website, but they have a green and a red juice blend that I love, and you just put a scoop and you mix it in water. This is very helpful for me in terms of getting in some added nutrients, prebiotic fibers, polyphenols, some of those things that can really come alongside and support your liver and your gut during the holidays. So I like to, I will try to drink those every day. Next would be constipation support. So I hear very often that when people are traveling, they notice that they are more constipated when they're traveling. So there's also a supplement on Amazon, and it's called BioGaia. It's basically it's a chewable probiotic, and it can help in getting things moving along. I'll actually try to post it in the comments for you. But another thing would be magnesium citrate. So there are multiple forms of magnesium. Magnesium citrate specifically is very common and well used for bowel support. So those can be very supportive if you're someone that tends to have slow motility when you're traveling during the holidays. Those would be great. For me, magnesium is a non-negotiable. It is something that I take every single day. There are very few supplements that I will basically say everyone needs to take because we are individual. We all need different things. Magnesium is one that I do believe every single person needs to take. I see severe depletion in practice on the daily. So magnesium is huge. I like and usually will recommend very often magnesium glycinate. It's very well tolerated. It is something that I take personally at night before bed. And typically the rule of thumb with magnesium is we need 3 times our body weight in milligrams of magnesium. So for example, if you weighed 150 pounds, you would need to essentially take 450 milligrams of magnesium. And it may seem like a lot, but actually we need a lot. It is one of our primary minerals, the primary mineral that we have that we burn through the quickest when the body is under stress of any kind. And so, magnesium glycinate, it helps with my sleep. So many benefits. And then the other thing that I like to carry along is some digestive enzymes, or there's a product called Gluten Ease. Because our family has to be a little bit mindful with the gluten, the Gluten Ease can help if you're out and about and you've been exposed to gluten. It can help kind of go in and help break that down better for you. Now with that is not a product that you just go eat all the gluten and then take the Gluten Ease and expect it to cancel it out. That's, again, not how that works. So this would be for someone that is maybe highly sensitive to gluten. Cross-contamination is an issue. And so you may want to have that on hand. But digestive enzymes in general can help support your digestion, help promote stomach acid production, and help you to be able to break down your food properly. So those are just on the minimal of what I'm taking with me when I'm traveling. So anyways, all of these things, these are my non-negotiables that I have in place. I really do feel like they help me to be able to enjoy the holidays more, to be more present with my family, and just to feel really good during the holidays. To where I don't feel like come January, I've got to completely start all over again. And so I am a firm believer in, when it comes to health and wellness, there's a ton of noise out there. And I mean, you guys know, you're hearing it all over the socials, but we have to be able to eat in a way to, these lifestyle things, body movement, these sorts of things that are actually realistic and able to be maintained long term. That's why I, in the beginning talked about the all or nothing mindset. We want to be in it for the long haul. This isn't just some 30-day fix and then we're on this roller coaster train of, I'm going to get better. This is the year I'm going to do it. And then we fall off again. That sort of mindset, those sorts of programs are setting you up for that same vicious cycle that I was a part of years and years ago. And so, I do believe that you can go into this holiday and enjoy the foods that you love, enjoy time with family. But if we're able to kind of plan ahead and have some of these things set in place, we don't have to feel like trash and then recircle back around in January to want to start all over again. So anyways, I'm open for questions. If any of you have questions or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. But yeah, I hope that this was helpful for you. This will kind of stay put in the group. I don't even know if you know this, but we have a YouTube channel because apparently Facebook, the groups now, it will only keep videos up for 30 days and then it deletes it. And so we've actually, any video that we have in this group, we've moved over into our YouTube channel so that it has a permanent place to stay. And that way you can, go back to it. So anywho, okay. I don't think I've got any questions, which is totally fine. Okay. Well, I hope that y'all have a great Thanksgiving. I hope that these things were helpful. And yeah, if y'all are watching this back and you end up having questions, feel free to stick them down here. I'll be checking in and I'm happy to answer those for you. But okay, thank y'all for joining and have a happy Thanksgiving and the rest of your holiday season.